Hello, everybody, and welcome to this match in the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. We're in the semifinals, and we are in Game 2 of this series. I am JP, and I am joined today by James FNX. How you doing?
All right, we've got a hot one for you, the semifinal number 2. On the left, Andy, up 1-0 over his opponent, ObscureLifeForm. And today we're playing Tournament Key Sanity.
Yep. Standard open mode, but we're shuffle all the keys in the pool as well, so make for a little bit more interesting routing. Got more items to look for. We will see how that plays out. As you can see by the Triforce at the bottom, Andy is up 1-0. If Andy wins this, he will advance to the finals. If Obscure wins this, we will have a Game 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, big stakes in this one. And Andy, the number 2 seed overall, looking to move on to the finals to play Scholzer, the number 1 overall seed. So Obscure going to try and extend this a little bit out. We're just about ready to go here.
Looks like we've got Scholzer using the fish sprites, and Andy using his standard pug sprite. So we shall see how they start. Will they start at Link's house? Will they start in the sanctuary? How will they route this as we are underway? Ooh, a sword right in Link's house.
It's a nice thing to find right off the bat. See if Andy wants to go any further into the castle after finding that sword. Both these runners are going to do the Uncle start.
Killing a few enemies, trying to get some bombs. We're going to do the triple here. That was hearts.
Yeah, no drops off the guards either. Obscure's going to kill these green guards in the drop down.
Now the fact that Obscure did not do the triple first makes you think he's going to go for escape sequence.
Yeah, you're going to kill these guards. Are a little easier to kill than the blue ones outside. And we'll do triple check there and then probably go back into the castle, like you said. Andy, looks like he got a hard drop off one of those guards, and Andy's going to continue back out as well. So both these runners are going to head into the castle. Andy opting not to farm up a tier 2 or tier 3 triple there.
Don't blame him. It's 4 kills. Can be a little much in terms of timing. Now, it's worth noting the only chest really in logic right now here is this first chest that they're both going to get. Without the Hyrule Castle small key, they don't really have much in logic here. But, you get a key here. We really don't care too much about that.
Yeah, we're going to go through and check all these chests out anyways. And that sword doesn't actually put that chest into logic. That chest is just in logic no matter what. So, sword not really a guidepost as to making that check or not. It's more getting through the escaping into these 2 chests in the back.
Be interesting to see if either runner goes for Dark Cross as well. With the sword, it's a little easier to tell where you are in the dark room, so we'll see if they decide to do it.
Yeah, the rope room is still tricky even with a sword. You're only on 3 hearts, so the ropes do half heart of damage.
I will say, Obscure side, playing with that sprite, it's got to be something you got to get used to, because even though the sprite's that small, it doesn't change Link's hitbox at all. So you got to get used to exactly how you have to space yourself to pick up chests and kill enemies and everything.
Yeah, any of these weird shaped sprites, like this one, there's an invisible Link one. This can of sprite is also a fun one. Yeah, you got to really get used to where your hitbox is spatially and how to do a lot of the tricks with the shadow as opposed to the sprite. Both runners are going to head back to the back and take a look at this Dark Cross item, or at least try to.
Yeah, they both should be able to get there. It's just a question of how much the enemies will cause them issues.
Yeah, this first room's not much of a problem. It's the second room that Annie just ended up in, this rope room, where it does make it through though pretty easily. You can get knocked off course by these ropes and kind of get lost looking for that stairway. Both runners make it through though. Just 5 rupees in Dark Cross, so not a lot out of the escape in total. And Andy's off to Kakariko.
Same for Obscure. Yeah, nothing in the Kakariko, or not Kakariko, nothing in Hyrule Castle.
Just a little bit of cash and a compass, and only a compass in Sanctuary as well.
Not even enough cash to buy bombs yet. It looks like we have Eastern Pendant.
You get this here 2 triple now, just singles.
Another map, you're going to grab that for the info.
For a rock, so be a little while before we might know what that is. But yeah, any maps that are within easy grabbing distance are going to be picked up by these runners trying to figure out what their pendants and crystals are. Bush crabs with 8 bombs apiece, so that's a nice find. We'll see if Obscure decides to check that. Doesn't look like it, so Andy's going to have a bomb advantage going into Kakariko.
Yeah, it's going to affect the routing. Like, Obscure doesn't even have the rupees yet to buy bombs. He's only 1 off, but... yeah, he's going to be going to Kakariko with no bombs. Though at the same time, I don't fully blame Obscure for trying to not do that, because as you saw on Andy's side, that bush crab decided to just run straight north, so there's a little bit of RNG with that bush crab.
Yeah, it can be sometimes very difficult to corral those guys. Obscure picking up a single rupee out of one of the pots in Blind Set. Now it's 50 rupees. We'll go get bombs.
There were bombs in Blind Set, though, but that's always a risk if you want to go for those.
We got a Skullwood small key. We got a Swamp Palace map. We got a Chur Rock small key.
So yeah, Obscure's gonna open this first chest and probably groan a little bit.
It's so much more of a risk in Key Sanity, hoping for bombs in one of these 8 chests that are available in Kakariko, because you have all the fill items, all the maps and compasses and keys as well. Much less likely, as you find a glove on Andy's side in the well, but just much less likely to find bombs in those accessible locations. I don't blame Obscure at all for getting bombs first.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ooh, half magic as well.
Nothing to use that magic with quite yet, but definitely a nice thing to have a couple House of Darkness small keys as well. Or at least one. Might have been a map too.
Unfortunately for Obscure, he's not going to be able to buy the bottle vendor item, which is the lamp.
Yeah, that's... I mean, Obscure is going to be able to make it through the game without a lamp, but that's going to give Andy a little bit of a time advantage. Going through dark rooms is a lot slower than going through them with light.
There's a shield. So Kakariko gives us a glove and a lamp, but not much else. Does open up a couple chests. Actually, that does let us go up Death Mountain too. Opens a couple chests in the back of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Is 3 chests in the back of Hyrule Castle. Without a hook shot or a mirror. Not a lot to do on the mountain yet. There's just 2 checks in logic and a look at a third.
Race game has a key.
Yep, gonna grab that. Another key in the library as well, so won't be able to determine that one until we get boots. But there's too many small keys you need in Key Sanity. We don't have that Swamp yet. We don't have Thief Town Small is a nice one to have. One for Ice Palace would be nice to have. Once we won't find Castle Tower small keys in this mode for the tournament. The Castle Tower small keys are stuck in the tower.
Yeah, Obscure just going for it, which Key Sanity is it's probably it's generally the better move because it's more likely you're going to find something here you want.
Yeah, especially with Kakariko only having a glove in terms of progression. We did find a couple small keys here and there, but in terms of major progressions, all we found was that glove. So a lot of benefit in terms of doing the maze race dark, or in the dark, essentially.
Harris? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the Harris small key. Nothing to do with that yet, but we already have access to Death Mountain. Could be an interesting trip up there soon if we find a mirror.
Blue mail's nice. The bottle's also nice.
Yeah, that bottle's going to be an extra check next time Andy and Obscure get to Kakariko. Which won't be it for a while, though.
I will say that Harris small coming up so early, and the lamp coming up so early, that does make me wonder a little bit. We don't have access to Hera yet, but if you get access to Hera, that placement starts to make you think a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be on both these runners' minds, and there's nothing that says a mirror can't be up on the mountain.
Of course, Obscure does not have that lamp yet, so even if he does get access to the mountain, or if he does go up the mountain, he can't do the Hera basement just yet. So.
Yeah, that would be real bad if we find a hook shot or a mirror in these checks and sending both these runners up to Death Mountain. Obscure doesn't have that lamp. Just cash in the dam, both inside and outside. He's skipping out on the 50 rupee drop. Obscure's going to grab it. It makes more sense for Obscure to grab it, having not gotten that bottle vendor than Andy. The difference between 40 and 90, especially when you're coming up on Zora, is not all that relevant.
Obscure going to go check a key now.
There's mitts for Andy in Minimal Dorm Cave.
Mitts early. I've kind of not liked that as much because it sometimes means a buried hammer.
Yeah, it can definitely lead to some interesting choices later in the seed if you're hunting for that hammer between, say, a Nice Palace or Thieves Town, things like that. Andy against his arch nemesis does have blue mail, so can take a hit from these crabs, but the screen has been pretty bad for Andy in a lot of races this tournament. Makes it through all right, though. It's Quake for his troubles. Meanwhile, Obscure, I think, found 10 arrows is all in Agina's cave.
Yep.
Andy going to continue on with a fake flipper here.
Interesting. He doesn't have Moon Pearl, so he can't get into a water walk state.
Yeah, no Moon Pearl, not enough cash for Zora, not even close. So this is literally just for under the bridge. I don't know if I agree with this decision. I
mean, it could also be Andy, just his strategy for this game. He's up 1-0. he can afford to be a little more thorough, use a little more time.
Eventually, yeah. As Obscure gonna walk over, get that Quake after getting mitts. We did find a big key.
Turtle Rock Big Key most likely going to be needed.
Yeah, so that's a decent little payout for Andy on a kind of out of the way decision. Andy's gonna head over to the Eastern Palace area now. Obscure can get Quake.
The Obscure is saving and quitting from there. It's nice to wait on that a little bit just because it gives you some. You can get it quicker later. There's our second pendant info. It's Pod.
Master Sword and a hook shot. And that's enough for Andy to hit up the mountain.
Yeah, that's an instant turn. You're going to the mountain.
And yeah, that Master Sword and that lamp does mean that Aghanim's Tower is in logic now. Both those keys are in the tower. No Moon Pearl yet, so that's going to be a last resort for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't touch the tower in this situation until you have Moon Pearl.
And Andy, knowing that Aghanim's Tower is in logic, is going to take a look at this Lumberjack Cave. Get some more bombs as well. And Obscure is also out of here. Just a compass and Lumberjack, so you're not going to have to deal with Aghanim's Tower for that item. And Obscure's going to make this climb up in the dark. And if we do find a mirror up here or a hammer up here, that Tower of Hera basement is starting to look a little more interesting.
Oh, almost dead right there. Though the normal boulders are not being friendly to Andy. He's down to 1 heart.
Yeah, no matter what mail you're on, those will deal 1 heart of damage. You just need to be a little careful getting to this ladder. It does make it up. On Spectacle Rock, we got a heart container, and inside Spectacle Rock, we have 50 rupees. So Andy's going to pass on both of those. And gonna have a little nervy time here getting over through this last screen. Does make it over. Does need to get over to Paradox Cave though and get him hurt in there.
Also, have to be careful with those. Yeah. Also, have to be careful with those dead rocks. They also do 1 heart damage. Actually, no, that not necessarily. With Blue Mail.
Yeah, on Blue Mail it's a half heart, so he could have taken 1 more hit, but makes it over to Paradox Cave. We'll get a couple hearts here. Swamp Small, that's a really good one to find.
That's the one danger of jumping down there.
Big key to Swamp House as well. And another House of Darkness Small and a Misery Miner Small key. So a lot of keys up here in Paradox Cave, not a lot of progression. Do have 1 more check here on the mountain in Spiral Cave. And if it's not here, it's got to be either in Eastern Palace or on Zora. Or the Pyramid, yeah. Pyramid Ledge is in Logic as well. But I think our runners are definitely going to check Eastern Palace before that. And depending on how much money they find, might even check Zora before that.
Interesting move by Obscure there. Oh, he needs the sword beams, that's why.
Yep. Andy's done on the mountain. Gets Spiral Cave item. Does not choose to do the Out of Logic Super Bunny checks. Those are very, very slow, so don't blame him at all.
This might be a Houlihan setup for Andy.
Yep. This will be Houlihan into Eastern Palace, most likely. No big key for Eastern yet, so no access to the rupee room in there, but it does pick up a couple hundred rupees here.
Yeah, Zora is in Logic. Not pleasant to think about right now, but that is a possibility. It is worth noting that I think at least one of them's checked the stun prize, and it is 20 rupees.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be too hard to get to up to 500 rupees. It'll be a little time consuming, but won't be difficult. Won't have to do anything awful like farming outside a desert. Chat bring up one more check we also have not looked at. That's the bottle turn in a sick kid.
So Andy heading into Eastern, he's got access to 4 items in here. Obscure, let's see if he's going to go back to Kakariko or he's going to also set up a Houlihan.
This looks like a Kakariko play from Obscure.
This is interesting. He'll be able to get the lamp from the bottle vendor, but he'll also get that extra check of Sick Kid. Sick Kid's got something.
Yeah, and Obscure recognizing the reality of the situation, I'm going to farm up 20 rupees as often as it can. This lamp.
Not a big thing that delayed to there.
And that opens up the Agam's Tower as a possibility. And there's a new pearl on Sick Kid. That is pretty big.
And yeah, Obscure's going straight to Dark World. Okay. That switched things quite a bit for the moment.
Yeah, I think Andy's more likely to go to Kakariko and check out Sick Kid before doing Agam's Tower. So I don't think he's going to be too far off of that. If Andy does find something useful in this last 2 checks of Eastern Palace, that'll be nice. So we've got Crystals at Turtle Rock, Thieves Town, and Swamp Palace. Turtle Rock being in 5-6.
Now, Obscure starting in Skullwoods. Without the hammer, I completely agree with the idea of a full check of Dark Worlds. You do not want to continuously have to go back to Kakariko.
Yeah, yeah. And Skullwoods and Kisan is just so valuable. There's so many checks that are available at the front. Already having found a small key as well, I'm not going to have to worry about getting locked out of any specific area. We'll be able to grab the 1 key out of the back here and check everything in the front.
It looks like Obscure's entering with 1 key, so...
Yep. There's that Zora money.
Just 10 arrows out of Eastern, so far, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a time loss for Andy.
Yeah, nothing out of Eastern Palace for him.
He's starting at Link's house. Let's see where he goes. He might. Okay, this is looking like a Zora check.
Yeah, we'll farm up some rupees and take a look at Zora.
So yeah, the longer it takes Andy to find this Moon Pearl, the more time Obscure can gain. Of course, that's assuming Andy doesn't find something big himself. Even if he doesn't find the Moon Pearl, he could find something else.
Yeah. Hammer on Zora, or a bow on Zora would be... Especially with Eastern and Palace of Darkness both being pendants, these two bows can be literally anywhere. Other than both of them being upstairs in GT. We saw Palace of Darkness small key for Obscure in Skull Woods, but nothing else. Looked like just bombs on Zora Ledge. There's a hammer locked in behind a bumper ledge, so we're going to need a cape.
Ooh, that's a little ugly.
Really good knowledge to have, though. Yeah, it's terrible that it's there, as Zora provides a poor return on investment. But it's going to be hard for Andy to miss that, having obviously only having glove access to the Dark World. But Andy making his way to Cat Creek, and now will turn in the bottle to Sick Kick, get his Moon Pearl, and get back into the Dark World and catch up. So you're going to hop into Thieves Town. No big key yet, so just the front 4 checks. This makes a lot of sense now that you know where the hammer's at.
So Andy has his Moon Pearl, and he's going to go straight to the Dark World from there as well. So Obscure gains a couple of minutes, but we are still pretty early. So there's still a lot that can happen in this race.
Yeah, there haven't been any, no major discoveries that have kind of pushed Obscure ahead here, other than knowing where that hammer's at. Well, Andy should take a look at Bumper Ledge on the way out of Skull Woods.
In front 4, no big key, you're not going to the back.
Ms. Romero, small key, and that's a rat for the front 4 Thieves Town. Bunny Sprite's very good. Nothing in the chess game.
There's your cape.
There's your cape. And then Obscure's just going to double back here and go grab that hammer right away.
Yep. That's not so bad of a location for cape.
I think even if Andy skips checking Bumper Ledge on the way out of Skull Woods, that cape is going to push him right back there. So I doubt Andy's going to miss this hammer for very long.
Yeah. So hammer gives us a lot more access.
Yeah, it doesn't really open anything up. It just makes things a lot easier in terms of routing. One thing it does open up is Tower of Hera.
Yeah, with Hookshot, you could complete that right now, but I mean, it's a long climb to go back for. Well, I mean, you've got Moon Pearl and Hookshot. You could do Dark Death Mountain. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you're not going to need that big key because if you have a hook shot, we can get around the big key requirement in Chimera. So, doesn't. I wouldn't blame either runner for making that decision after this loop of Dark World checks, and even before that, because now you've got access to the portal Seth Link's house. It can make some of these checks a little more efficiently. The Obscure's going to walk all the way down here and go check Dig Game. Check out Hammer Pegs as well.
Might grab the Smith then. We'll see.
Yeah, at this point I expect this to be a full tour of the Dark World for Obscure. Andy did not check out Bumper Cave before heading out into the Village of Outcasts, but hopefully that cape pushes him back in that direction.
Yeah, I can't blame him for not doing it before, because it's a little extra time. You know, you don't have the cape anyway, so... You know, if you had the mirror, maybe, but... The fish is using a shovel that's pretty much bigger than him.
Don't worry about it.
I guess a lot of the stuff's bigger than him.
Yeah, this shield is like comically huge compared to the fish. And Obscure not going to grab the Smith, it's just going to do these Southwest Dark World checks. I guess if your next step is the mountain, you don't want to have the Smith with you. So that's what this kind of tells me, is that Obscure is going to head up the mountain after saving quit at Hype Cave or checking Pyramid, one or the other.
Ooh, Andy is not going to check Bumper Ledge.
To get that cape, but is not checking Bumper Ledge. That is rough.
Is that a pun?
It wasn't until you said something. So Andy doesn't have the same sort of incentive, is likely going to grab the Smith and make this tour. Skull Big Key. Don't want to see that after already going to Skull Woods.
Yeah, not great for Obscure, but that might push Andy back to Skullwoods sooner rather than later, which also might send him to Bumper Ledge.
Yeah, that's the one good thing for Andy, is that is a good reason to head back to that area. And yeah, Andy is going to grab the Smith and take the Toad on a little tour. Here is our other 5/6 crystal. Even more incentive for Obscure to head up the mountain now.
Now, without the hammer or flippers, this will be a quick world tour, because all Andy can get to is Hype Cave right now.
Yep. So you're going to take a look at the Pyramid. Be interesting to see if he saves and quits from here or decides to take this up to like Catfish as well. Wouldn't be a bad time to loop Catfish in. I don't think there's going to be a better time to do it. You would love to have the mirror at this point, so you can do a Zora check as well. Obscure hasn't done that Zora check yet, but instead, Obscure's going to head over to House of Darkness.
Three smokies. That's not a bad. This isn't a bad time to do it, actually.
Yeah. No potions, but I'm pretty sure Obscure can mimic Eclipse, so that's not going to be a problem either. And Andy doing a save and quit after Hype Cave. Going to take the Smith back to Cat Greco and see what he's got to offer.
Do monkeys eat fish?
I don't know. This one does not. He eats rupees.
Good point. I think monkeys are herbivores. I'm not sure on that, though. Anyway, the Smith has a big key to Ice Palace. Okay, not the most important big key, but it's an extra check for Andy when he gets over there.
Yep. Logically required to beat Ice Palace, but Ice Palace is the least logical dungeon in the game.
Okay, check. Her team is saying orangutans eat fish.
Yeah, I think some monkeys are herbivores and some are omnivores. Flutes. So we put a flute and a Samaria in our first 2 checks here in Palace of Darkness.
And then they're getting the Meyer starting package. Just a big key away from a Meyer clear.
Almost. That, I think, one more key for that to be in logic?
Okay. Andy finds a book.
A book in the Skullwood's Big Chest. That's, we'll see if that's interesting or not. That's currently our only way into the Desert Palace area, but no keys at all for that section yet.
And yeah, that Skullwood's big key was good for Andy because it's going to send him back over here to get his hammer.
Yeah, that's the real important part here.
Ooh, Obscure checking this. Okay. I was going to say, Obscure using a key to check that chest, and he gets a key.
Yeah, the usual is gonna do a hammer jump here, get over to these 2 checks, and then we'll see if he chooses a mimic clip or not.
Good point by chat that this is a pendant, so you're not as worried about being able to clear this dungeon right now.
Definitely, it is a green pendant though, so it does lock 1 item behind it. But yeah, you're not all that concerned about being able to beat this dungeon. Big key could be in GT. Nothing 6 key locked here, and Obscure's gonna go find some enemies to kill him.
Well, Andy's going to go do these slow hammer pegs, but this is also likely going to be a purple chest pickup.
Yeah, this will be another additional check that Andy will have over Obscure. That first additional check did lead to that book.
Andy's got a few extra checks that have led to some interesting items. Not necessarily. I think the only item we can say of those is absolutely required at this point was that Turtle Rock big key off of Oboe. But there's definitely some interesting pickups.
Yeah, that's the one that could be problematic. Flute will give Obscure more of an opportunity to get back to the area, to the southeast area, and roll to kind of do a fake flipper there. But if, say, flippers are in Turtle Rock, you're going to have to root for Obscure to make that check out of logic sooner rather than later.
Andy? I know it looks a purple chest, but it seemed a little excessive.
Yeah, that's our last Turtle Rock small key. As Andy just wanted to be with chest a little longer. Obscure trying to do this mimic clip here. hard to tell with the save and quit dialogue up just how far the mimic is into the wall.
I'll say Obscure is so regular those pushes. It sounds like he's on low health.
Yeah, this is pendant theme remix for sure. Well done by Obscure. Getting that clip done. We'll get a look at these 2 chests in the back.
Now, Andy's only got one item he can get in here right now, unless he steals the key from the back. You can also look at the torch.
We got Berna in the Bowlock side, and another Skullwood Small. So not a lot Bowlock for Obscure that time used up. But did find a flute, did find Samaria, and that'll give Obscure a ton of options in terms of what he wants to do with his next look. Whether he wants to go into the Mire area. He already has 2 medallions as well. Also found Bombos in Palace of Darkness as well. So we'll get a look at a couple of things there. Could head up to the mountain and take a look at what Turtle Rock requires.
Yeah, unfortunately nothing for Andy in Desert, so far not much for that book. But I think he's going to be the first one to check out Dark Death Mountain and Hera.
Yeah, and that'll be a little bit unfortunate not having that Samaria yet. There's a decent chance Turtle Rock's open.
Yep. And with, I think, are all 4 Turtle Rock Smalls? The Turtle Rock Big's not in Logic, because we need flippers, but...
All 4 smalls, I think only 3 of the smalls are in Logic. I think 1 was locked behind more pod keys than we found.
Oh, Scare's going to check the Mire area.
Yeah, I like this before doing going up the mountain. You can find out if you're hunting for another medallion. The checks are pretty quick. I would be surprised if Obscure headed into Mire, even if he has the medallion.
If he does have the medallion, it's Quake. Let's see if this book pays off for Andy as he checks Ether Tablet. Nice pickup, but not required.
Yeah, Sanctuary Heart getting her full refill, but yeah, not progression. Obscure is going to head into Misery Mire, having that Quake medallion.
He can basically get every item in here except for the boss.
Yep. 2 items on the left-hand side, not quite in Logic yet, with only 2 small keys, but no one ever cares about that, really. Unless you get into some very, very interesting situations on where you find a Mire small key out of Logic. No one really ever cares that those checks are out of Logic.
This is an interesting play. Andy's going to check the Hera basement.
I don't hate it. We've had that small key for a long time and everything to get up on the mountain for a good 15 minutes now. So this is one of those things that we mentioned earlier that kind of smelled a little bit off, getting that small key so early. Andy's setting up a death warp here. Gonna have to be a little careful. Doesn't want to die before getting that chest. And this main mortar room can be a little unpredictable. It does make it through though.
Small key to pod. So that's probably not going to be worrisome in any way. Could be required by Logic if there's something either on Green Pendant or Helma, but yeah, you're not worried.
I think one of those Turtle Rock small keys was in the dark thing, so that is required by Logic. But that's another thing. Find the mirror sitting here in Misery Mire. That is a big time find before heading up the mountain for Obscure.
Yeah, he is. Obscure is getting some of the good stuff right now. So Andy at some point is going to have to journey into pod.
Yep, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if that's after these checks up on Death Mountain.
So let's see if the cutscene pays off. Nope. And he takes down Moldorm, and at 44 minutes, we'll finally have a crystal. It's kind of how Key Sandy goes sometimes. It's just, it takes forever to get that first crystal. Another new check on Andy's side. We're going to see Spike Cave. Now, just the mirror out of Meyer. There's Ether. That's interesting. I feel like we've been saying that for a lot of Andy's chicks. That's interesting.
Yeah, lots of bits and pieces. Andy will get a look at what the Turtle Rock Medallion is here in just a moment, so we'll see if that ether is required.
And no Samaria for Andy, so this will just be a Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave check.
Yep.
I don't remember if we saw what was on Floating Island earlier.
If we didn't, we're going to see it now, and it's just 20 rupees.
So Andy's not going to be hurt by missing that mirror for the time being.
Nothing in checkerboard, and Obscure's out of here and probably up the mountain. It is Quake for both our dungeons. That ether not needed.
Obscure is heading back to Dark Worlds. Interesting. He could be doing Skullwood's big chest, and then maybe not Bumper Ledge.
Graveyard Ledge? Yeah, mirror checks.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like an interesting choice over all of the mountain. There's our Fire Rod.
He will get that book. Won't send him to desert because he's already been in deserts.
Yeah, and with the mirror does unlock one more check at Bombo's tablet, but a book not paying dividends at all so far. Just a Fire Rod on Dark Death Mountain, but that is required. We are going to have to beat Turtle Rock at some point. Don't know about Skullwoods yet.
Andy, I think he's going to go beat Skullwoods, though.
Yep.
We are still missing info on the third pendant. So that is still up in the air. Looks like it could be Meyer, Ice Palace, Skullwoods, or Desert. So if he is going to go clear... if he's going to go clear Skullwoods right now, he's got a 3 in 4 chance of getting a crystal.
Yep. Yeah, Obscure is going to do Smith Chain with the hammer, or with the mirror. We'll pick up that Skullwoods big key. Or I forget what was. We got the quotes together. I forget what was on Smith's.
Ice Palace Big Key.
Ice Palace Big Key. Even better. What a delight.
That is an option for Andy too, is he could sequence break into ice. But with just the big key and no flippers, it's iffy on if it's a move you want to do or not.
Yeah, if you knew it was a crystal, you'd be more tempted to do it. But maybe with the potential of just being a pendant, that seems a little excessively aggressive. Obscure's going to get this last Turtle Rock small key, so we'll be able to check Lava Chest when he ends up there as well.
He's also going to get the K45 and Bombo's tablet checks.
Yep. Andy, you see in Skull Woods it is a crystal. We got that map at some point. So our potential is for pendants, down 1. K45, as usual, nothing.
Yeah, I'd say Andy's advantage still is that Turtle Rock Big Key.
Yeah, it's really it honestly it's looking like there's a decent chance that the flippers are just in Turtle Rock and the game expects you to do that and then go get your big key. We're kind of running out of locations where those flippers can be that isn't Turtle Rock.
And that book is completely useless.
It did get a personal pan pizza though, so.
Oh, Obscure pulling 2 potions. He's going to Ice Palace, I think.
Yep, that's what this looks like. I said this is a bit of a risk, not knowing if it's a crystal or a pendant. But Vortex of Doom in chat mentioned that what he thought was going on was Obscure is looking for both these rods before heading up the mountain.
Yeah, I think Obscure might be thinking Rule of Fire here. But we know that's not the case. But still, he can full clear Ice Palace with the big key, so.
We did get a map check on Andy's side. Swamp Palace is a crystal, so it's either desert or ice for this last pendant.
Or Meyer. I don't think
or Meyer as well.
Andy, this is probably gotta be a catfish check at this point. Big key to Thieves Town, you definitely need that.
Yep. So that's 3 more locations where those flippers can't be. 4 with the big chest as well if we find that small key.
Now, with the Obscure's key situation, I do believe he does have to hit the switch.
Yeah, with no smalls, you're going to have to hit the switch. With 1, you can choose not to, and I think it's still faster if you hit the switch even with 1. But if you have both of them, then there's no need to worry about that.
Ooh, that was a nice
That was smooth.
Big key,
big key.
That's a beatable dungeon now. Will Catfish pay off for Andy? Answer is
no. A resounding no. Desert small, so this is really interesting. Obscure is getting a lot of these keys in a lot of places these flippers absolutely cannot be. And there's a decent chance that we're going to have a flipper go mode at this point.
Yeah, we absolutely need those flippers for Swamp. No getting around that. It looks like Andy's going to head in the pod, which will get him the treasure trove of items that was there. Oh, we have confirmation. This is a crystal.
Yep, so that leaves Mire or Desert as our last pendant. Hyrule Castle Small, we know is worthless. Andy finally making his way to the Palace of Darkness area. We'll pick up that Bombos, pick up Flute, and pick up Samaria. And it's interesting that Obscure has been able to do a lot more checks in this game, but Andy has 2 crystals already.
Yeah, I'm sure should get his first crystal here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy does also have that advantage, and he's already got 2 crystals. They're not hard crystals to get, but it is a little less time that Andy's going to have to spend it later on in the seed.
Yeah, and if these flippers are sitting up in the front of a dungeon somewhere, if this bow is sitting, if one of these bows is sitting in a dungeon somewhere, this ice rope is close, not having to do all these overworld checks that Obscure has done looking for these 2 rods, Andy could make up a lot of this time depending on where these items are at.
The thing is, interesting is we don't necessarily need a bow.
Yeah, we could. This could be the Mimiclip seed. We've already seen Obscure pull one off. It to take a bit of time to do that, but it is in his repertoire. I know it's in Andy's repertoire as well. So it'll be very interesting to see if we actually find a bow, and if it comes down to how quickly these 2 runners can do that Mimiclip.
And he's saying he'd be very surprised if we didn't find a bow, but it is possible. Though I believe in this mode, the GT big key is in GT, so
yeah,
you will be searching GT.
Yep, yeah. The GT big key is somewhere in the basement, so the GT smalls are a little bit more important in this mode than they would be in our normal key Sandy. We've only found 1 of those so far.
That's a crystal for Obscure. I think the biggest thing you got out of here is Thieves Town Big?
Yeah, we got Thieves Town. Oh, Mire Big as well.
Yeah, Mire Big too, yeah. Okay.
We know we need Thieves Town Big. We don't know if we need that Mire Big or not. But it won't surprise me if Obscure heads in that direction. If he's continuing to dodge the mountain as long as he can.
And he's heading back over here. This might be the hobo check. Because he does not have Zora money. I guess he could also check Waterfall.
Yeah, he will get to check Waterfall, which is something that Andy was not able to do. Didn't have the Moon Pearl as of yet.
Fish having a fake flipper. Gotta wrap my mind around that one.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. It makes perfect sense. Just some cash on the Waterfall.
He's gonna at least look at the ledge.
Yeah, with Samaria and could Ancilla it if needed. We know it's not anything important.
And he's walking back to Hobo.
Yeah, gonna walk back under the bridge. We'll get that Turtle Rock big key. That'll work out well. We'll find that fire rod up on the mountain, and we'll be able to get everything. Boss and Turtle Rock, and it's just a matter now of where's this ice rod at, and
Andy is getting bullied in pod.
Yeah. What do we still need? We need an ice rod. We need
flippers.
We need flippers. We may need a Desert Palace big key if Mire's our last pendant.
I think that's it.
Yeah, if we ignore the bow requirement, and both these runners have shown that they can ignore the bow requirement.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, Obscure is firmly got an advantage now.
Yeah, it's Obscure is going to make it up the mountain now. Is this a flute away, or is this actually doing some checks up here? This is just a flute away. This will be cleaning up Misery Mire. Makes sense, based on how Obscure's played this seed so far.
I actually kind of like this, because it is a 50-50 shot, but if you get a pen in here, then you know you need the desert big.
Right. We already have the desert small, so Obscure's not going to worry about stealing keys or anything in that dungeon too. So knowing if you need the desert big or not before you're in go mode is kind of important. Very clean Mire 2 without boots. Both trips in here.
What's the same, Obscure? You've got the big key. Go check the big chest.
You've done everything else in here. Just go get the big chest. Go get your boss.
And he's out of... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Half magic cape. Dittrix should be no problem.
And he's out of pod. He's going to go activate his flute.
Yep. Now it's going to be interesting to see where... I assume Misery Mire is the next location for Andy. We'll get that mirror.
It is worth noting that we will not see Obscure flippers here because Mire Big Key was an ice.
Yeah. We found in a lot of places the flippers can't be from that Ice Palace trip.
I think you're going to be right on your prediction of flippers and Turtle Rock.
I think so at this point, which thanks game for that wonderful logic.
You don't need that Obscure. I think that was just muscle memory there.
Yeah, if you're coming in here and you're like, I've got a cape, I got to use cape to get through this fight because I don't have a bow, I don't have a good sword. You're just heading over there on muscle memory, and Andy following in Obscure's footsteps a little bit here. We'll be heading into Misery Mire shortly to get that mirror. Has not made that autologic dip into Ice Palace yet, so won't be able to complete this dungeon.
Alright, here comes the video fight for Obscure. Yeah, he's going to bring the cape out and just slash as much as he can. Or spin. Either way. He's got to have magic that works.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that hit from the Fire Snake was intentional to get rid of sword beams or not, but is going to use spins here instead of slashes.
Yeah, that goose sucks because if you're in the wrong spot, you can't charge your sword. And now it's spin to win for a little bit.
Yeah, no more magic is going to have to be a little bit careful. Let's make it through though. We'll pick up whatever the prize is here. 100 rupees for killing the boss, and it is a pendant, so we do need that Desert Palace big key.
Good information either way.
Yeah, there's no way you're not doing Misery Mire here unless you find a map somewhere beforehand. So, no way you're not going to do this dungeon at this point. Do you know we need one more piece of the puzzle though?
Obscure's going to mirror. He's got the Desert Small, which he got in Ice Palace. So again, this will not be flippers.
Yep. Yeah, this won't be flippers. The Thief Town won't be flippers. It's just got to be Turtle Rock at this point.
Well, thanks for that. After going into Ice Palace.
nothing like a required logically Ice Palace double dip. I think you got to go with the mountain now, Obscure. No? No. Gonna do Thieves Town first.
This is... Ooh, this one,
This is fine. Like, you know you're not finding flippers here. You could find an Ice Rod.
Yeah, you have eliminated flippers here.
You know it's a crystal. Like, this continues to play into how Obscure is playing this seed, where Dark Death Mountain doesn't exist until I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, look, I can see that. I mean, I always feel a little iffy leaving behind the big chest here, but I can see it as well. Now, if he picks up a nice rod in here, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, if the Ice Rod is in here, that's probably more than Andy can overcome.
It is worth noting that completing this is not in logic because we don't have that small keep. So
Correct.
something more to keep in mind if we happen to find something in here. This is also feeling more and more like Booster just going to be in GT.
Yeah, not seeing any reason to believe otherwise. There is a small key in the library, but I think we are good outside of potentially needing a second GT small. We can do a lot of things with the one GT small.
Andy's going to check Waterfall, going to get those rupees, and then he might just go into Ice after that.
Yeah, would make a lot of sense here. He's already looked at Zora area. There's the boots. So those are flipper locked as well. So we know the flippers won't be in either of those boots lock locations in the north side of the light world.
And that's, yeah, well, also that kind of puts Andy a little further behind.
Yeah, we'll be able to we'll be picking up the Thieves Town key shortly, but won't lose a ton of time on boots.
I will say honestly, the best place for that Thieves Town small key now to be is on library.
Oh yeah. Container and another crystal. So that's 2 crystals for Obscure. Andy on 2 crystals as well, getting his third shortly. And Obscure immediately going to grab this key, see what it is. It's either got to be a pod small, Thieves Town. I think there's one ice small key floating around as well, and then GT.
Let's see what it is. Meyer.
Oh, the third Meyer key. All right, that one's much less interesting.
Yeah.
And boots checks for Obscure.
Yeah,
Along with Graveyard Ledge.
He really is doing this hold on Dark Death Mountain as long as he can.
And if you choose to play that way, like you just have to commit to it. And Obscure being down a game here is staking his tournament life on this.
So far, it's working out. I mean, yeah, he hasn't got that fire rod, but that hasn't slowed him down in any way.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to be a single triple limit because of that fire rod. But if all you have left to do when you get done off the mountain is Swamp Palace and the Skull Woods, those are two very fast dungeons. It's a compass at Graveyard Lodge.
Gonna check King's Tomb, and then I think he might be forced up the mountain. Ooh.
Hera.
Okay.
That is a check. That is a check that Andy has not done yet.
That's actually might be an interesting find. Because if something's in that Hera big chest, well, we know it's not flippers, but we know about everything that's not flippers at this point.
Yeah, I think at this point, gotta be Turtle Rock.
Andy's got his third crystal. Let's see where he goes with those big keys. And he's gonna clear Meyer as well. Or is he? No, yeah, he's gonna clear Meyer.
Yeah, gonna finish up Mr. Mario over here. Obscure gonna clear out. Terra has not been here yet.
I think he's more likely to skip the basement, but we did see the basement was just a pod small.
Yeah, I agree with you here. He's not gonna check out this basement until the very end, being after Turtle Rock did too.
He will get the Hera big chest.
Yeah, that is some new information. Which also cannot be the flippers. Could ever be an ice rod. Or it could be a heart container.
Okay, so that's not going to hurt Andy. Yeah, Turtle Rock's got to be our... We're getting finals of Turtle Rock, it basically feels at this point.
Yep.
Ooh.
Almost getting sent on the long trip down. Does avoid it, though, and finishes off Moldorm. Pick up crystal number 3.
We'll add on that something annoying that could still happen is our fetch quest items have not been found yet.
Yep, no shovel, no powder, no mushroom. Always fun to find those late in the seed when you're looking for 1 or 2 items.
Yeah. Obscure going to open up Turtle Rock. He'll likely go check Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny first.
pick up that fire rod, and then I think you have to go in and just kind of cross your fingers and hope that your ice rod is in here along with these flippers. I can't think of another place these flippers are at.
Yeah, 12 items essentially in Turtle Rock right now, I believe.
Yeah, between the 11 you can get in Turtle Rock and the Mimic Cave. So literally 9% of the game is up here right now for Obscure. Andy with the hammer beating the crap out of Vitreous gets that pendant.
One of the eyeball bosses.
Yeah, other eyeball boss.
Yeah, talking about flippers on Ped, we've already ruled that out because the Meyer Big Key was an Ice Palace.
Correct.
All right, here you go. New info. Seems like it's been a while since we've had. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say it seems like a while since new info. It's been a while since concentrated new info.
Yeah, we had the boots checks from Obscure, but this is a lot of checks in a small amount of time.
Chad going through the Ped possibilities. Bow on Ped. If Bow's on Ped, there's another bow that's available before Ped.
Correct. The only things we can find there are Ice Rod or Desert Big. I will be surprised if either one of those is there. One thing, Obscure just got 300 rupees. Obscure has not checked Zora yet, I don't believe. Didn't have the cash for it when he made his fake flipper play.
Correct.
We do know the Zora is just 20 rupees, but it's got to be in the back of Obscure's mind. That's very likely a... if it's there, I'm going to last location it, and whatever happens, happens kind of play for Obscure at this point.
Also worth knowing, those runners are both on Master Sword. They got two swords early, and we have not seen a sword in about an hour.
Yeah. There's our second Ice Palace small.
They have had that mirror shield since about the 15-minute mark, though. Actually, probably even earlier than that.
Yeah, they got the Master Sword and the Mirror Shield out of Sarasa's hut real early. They've just been there for the rest of the game. Andy getting that red mail. We'll get these boots shortly as well.
And no worry about checking this because you've got all 4 small keys.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. So yeah, that's a real good place for those flippers to be.
Okay, so we can confirm that all 4 TR smalls were not flipper locked. The TR big was, so this was a... Man, that's ugly. That's
yeah, this is a logically required double dip to Turtle Rock to go get your big key. Potentially a logically required double dip to go get your big key out of under the bridge, and then your ice rod out of, say, Swamp Palace. We don't know yet.
So we're still looking for 2 items. We need the ice rod, and we also need that desert big.
Yep. Second GT small. That is pretty nice to find, actually.
I think we are fully back in logic now, finally.
I think so.
You know, never fully known Key's sanity.
I don't remember what was in the Dark Maze of Palace of Darkness. I think that's about the only thing that could have had something that would be out of logic still, since we don't have 6 pod smalls. But those are the sort of things you just... If you can track all that while you're still running a seed, more power to you.
Yeah, if you can track all that, then yeah, you got a pretty big brain.
My brain is not that big.
So now the question we've got for our Turtle Rock, is it going to be a required extra dip because we don't find the ice rod here, or...
We got 4 shots at it. I'm going to take a look here very shortly at what's on Laser Bridge. There's that Thieves Town Small. There's one fetch quest.
Yeah, you never wanted to see that.
There's the bow. There's 2 more fetch quests. 3 more fetch quests, actually. You got Eastern Palace. Oh, we don't have the big key for Eastern Pod yet, so I guess those aren't really fetch quests. Bow's just nice to have at this point. And yeah, we're hunting for an ice rod. It's gonna be hard to save that portal, but Obscure's gonna try. I don't like this. I don't like this play. I would just go to Swamp.
Yeah,
I know you have to beat it.
I think this is the only check he can make, though he could potentially save the portal.
Oh, you can do Skull Woods too. Just do Skull Woods while you're here.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, good point. We know Skull Woods is nothing, but you could...
Right.
And I think he just thought about that. Like, wait, why am I doing this when I've got 2 checks in the back of Skull Woods? Oh, never mind about saving the portal.
Yeah, we're just done with this. Let's go play the Swamp Palace, I guess. That portal's dead now. What are...
He seems... Okay, there we go. Let's say
Alright.
He seemed a bit uncertain on what he wanted to do.
I think Obscure needed a reboot. Clear the cookies, clear the cache, and I think we're good to go now.
Andy is heading up to TR, so at this point, we're kind of getting to a point where things are lining up a little bit, and we kind of see what the advantage is, and Obscure's advantage is basically a clear of TR.
Yeah, that's about it. And so Obscure's got a couple of minutes on Andy, but I think it's all going to come down to Swamp and where this ice rod's going to be, and where this Desert Palace big key's going to be. And one or the other is likely in Swamp.
Yeah, chat bringing up a good point. Obscure has not been to Eastern yet.
Yeah. Did check out once he got that Master Sword and Hookshot in Strausla's hut. Andy did eventually go over and look at those checks, so we know that there's nothing in the front of Eastern Palace. But that does have to be on Obscure's plan.
But yeah, also, I really doubt you go into Eastern before Swamp.
No. Now especially that you've lost your portal, there's no benefit at all to holding on. Good Mothfield fight. Obscure's going to pick up another crystal.
Yeah, he does have, actually, Chad, as much as I hate to admit it, Chad is a good point. You could mirror here and check Ped, which, considering that he didn't check the bridge chest first, I think that's his plan.
Yep.
But even if it is PED, then we need Eastern and Pod big keys. Alright, so the two things we were looking for, Ice Rod and Desert Big. It's neither of those.
Just a bunch of money. So Swamp Palace is going to be the play here. Ten items in Swamp Palace along with the crystal.
And I think you're full clearing the swamp. There's no thoughts of left side skip.
No, none whatsoever. You still need 2 items. You might go to the back first and then come back in. But I think if you don't find both items in the back, I think you come back in for sure.
Yeah, because even if you do find one of those items, Ice Rod opens 1 spot, Desert Big opens 2.
Yeah, it's not. You're not going to find enough extra checks with one of those items to not want to come back in at this point. Two checks down, no love yet on Swamp Palace.
If we see a big key, it's a 1 in 3 chance of being the big key we need.
Yeah, we have 2 duds in Eastern and Palace of Darkness, and then Desert for the payout.
Probably slightly bigger than 1 in 3, just considering the fact that I'm guessing at least one of those big keys is for Eastern or Pod's going to be in GT at this point.
Yeah.
Here's check 3. Big key to Desert.
Desert. That's one. That's 1 or 2 items. We're just on an Ice Rod hunt now. A 3rd Ganon's Tower small key, so that will be easy routing throughout all of Ganon's Tower at this point. No need to be super conservative keys.
Yeah, as you said, he's going to do the back first, which, especially after finding the Desert Big, this absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. I still think you go back in if you don't find it here in the back, but... we will see what Obscure opts to do as we just find a piece of heart in the waterfall chest.
Andy is out of Turtle Rock. Where's he going?
I imagine this is going to be a Swamp Palace play. Andy has even less to do. Yeah, heading directly to Swamp Palace. So, Andy, not all that far behind.
Gonna be about 3.5 minutes getting into Swamp behind Obscure.
So really, at this point, it's where is this Ice Rod at is going to determine who wins this race.
Andy's best chance to catch up might be it being behind a fetch quest, and he getting the right choice versus Obscure taking a bit.
Yep. Good quick kill. And it's not in the back of Swamp Palace. So 2 checks left in here. We'll see if Obscure comes back in or not.
It's a... Well, yeah, we'll see.
You got 2 checks here. You got 2 checks in Desert. You got...
Yeah.
Obscure's going to head back in. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you can't leave these behind right now. Like, nothing else you've got other than Eastern is more checks. And the fact that he knows that the pet is nothing probably is going to less incentivize him to make an Eastern check. So it's basically, he's going to check the left side swamp, then he's going to go to Desert and finish that. And after that, then he'll have to make some decisions if he hasn't found it by then. I mean, you're an hour and a half in. If you're in these runners, spots, how are you feeling?
Oh, I don't think either runner feels particularly great right now. Obscure knows that he has a full Eastern Palace that he hasn't checked. It doesn't have a big key yet, but there's still 4 checks there that hasn't done. Took a bunch of time deciding what he wanted to do after Turtle Rock. Andy was super late to that hammer and super late to the flute, and had some less efficient routing because of those 2 things. Not having someone and not having flute and hammer before Obscure. I think both these runners feel like it's very tight at this point. I think the worst case scenario for Obscure right now is if that ice rod is in the basement of Thieves Town, as Andy's probably going to be there before Obscure, because Andy's already done Eastern Palace. Obscure can't avoid Eastern Palace if it's not in Desert or in the left side here.
Unless Obscure finds Eastern big. A piece of heart. There it is.
Wow. All right. So at an hour 31, Obscure finding the last piece of the puzzle. We're on our way to Turtle Rock, and then we're on our way to Gainon's Tower.
Well, actually, Desert first, then Turtle Rock.
Desert first. Yeah. Got that problem too. I do like how this will bring apart one of my favorite quirks of this seed. Having to think for a moment after you see a big key in Gainon's Tower.
Oh yeah, because we're still missing those Eastern Pod Bigs, so you could see a big key in Ganon's Tower and it not be the one you need.
Yep. And I know when I was racing this mode, I definitely had one seed where there was a second big key in there, and I found it first, and I almost mirrored out. But then my brain started working again, and I did not do that, thankfully. Oh no! It's 2 items here and it's 2 items in Desert. These plus Andy also has Bombo's tablet to check this. It's completely defensible, but we do know this is not the right way to go. There's a big key, so that's one less big key to find. Oh god, Andy's gonna find this big key. Doesn't have all 6 pot smalls, so that's a decent decent shield away from making that play. But that's not what you want to find if you're Andy. Gonna be here on Lamela. Meanwhile, Obscure 6 crystals in, can head back up to the mountain.
Just thinking through this seed, like there's just been so many little things that have just kind of worked in Obscure's favor. I think not having rupees for that lamp ended up working in his favor because it sent him back to CAC early for Moon Pearl. Checking Bumper Ledge a little earlier, that helped him. The pod dip, I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of little decisions here that have ended up working in Obscure's favor.
Yeah, I think the big one was knowing that the hammer was on Bumper Ledge and immediately doubling back and grabbing it after finding the cape in the brewery. Because that allowed Obscure to make that pod dip a little bit cleaner. Andy, if you remember, ended up taking a tour, then and doing a kern jump over to get to that area of the world. Did have the hammer already, but just how Andy chose to route it after finding the hammer like 10-15 minutes later.
So Andy's gonna go check the big chest.
I think the worst thing Andy can find here is a pod small.
Nope, nothing there. So for Andy at this point, I mean, you could go to pod, but well, it is green pendant.
It's green pendant, but all those checks are out of logic. This is
he's going back to
big.
Yeah,
Hera big. Unfortunate.
I can see his logic here because it's like if the X runs in the Hera big, he just runs straight over to TR.
Yep. Yeah, and you're at a point now where you're just like, I'm probably behind. I need to start making the lower percentage checks. As if I do the thing my opponent's doing, I'm not going to win. But if I do the things my opponent's not doing, and I find what I need, then I have a chance.
I wish I could figure out how to get that blocked so cleanly.
Yeah, my bear paw hands don't let me do diagonals, so I just I do not do these spin speeds ever.
Master Sword Trinex fight coming up for Obscure. Well, it's probably gonna be more of a hammer fight. So.
Yeah, hammer fight, half magic. Shouldn't be any problem. Red mail, approximately 400 hearts. I think we're good.
Oh, and Andy's going to pod.
Yeah, that will... It's unfortunate. I like that from Obscure, getting a few sword slashes in and a few fire rod shots, so making sure to switch to the hammer before killing that head. So he'll have the hammer up for phase 2. Very clean, nicely done. And yeah, if you are one of our friends that likes to wager an internet point or two, got a prediction going on where you might think this game is Tower Big Key's at. You also got a bunch of people put numbers in chat to the same effect.
Yeah. I just...
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just to get that fame, that credibility.
Yeah, I just went and found an old prediction since I don't have to type something fast. But it looks like everyone's betting on different numbers. Surprisingly, 22 only has 10 points on it so far.
Yeah, that's It's never towering, right? It's just never towering. Until it is. And we've got at least one, with the potential for one other big key in there. We have not found the Eastern Palace big key, so gonna have to keep our eyes open as Obscure is gonna head to the left and take a look at the Stalfos room before heading over to the right. And there's a big key on the torch. Is it? Is it? It is not.
No.
All right, so that's one check. Sorry to all the one betters out there. So you're going to do the Stalfos right strategy.
The other thing Obscure is looking for is a Tempered Sword. Otherwise, we're looking at 52 spin to win Ganon.
Remember, Obscure did buy at least one potion earlier. So we'll have plenty of magic, plenty of health.
I think he's got a red and a blue.
Yeah, I think we found a red in one of the dungeons and he bought a blue.
I see he might have 2 blues.
Yeah.
He got one at the start of Swamp Palace, I remember that.
Oh, that was, yeah, so he has 2 blues then. So he can be very aggressive with the cape in phase 2.
Alright, we got chest 8. Chest 9. Chest 10. Chest 11.
A lot of nothing. Cat pointing out he bought a red and a blue, and also found a blue as well. So yeah, Obscure can be very, very aggressive in the Ganon fight and not have to worry about running out of resources. Palace of Darkness did not have anything. We'll see what Green Pendant has. A Tempered Sword. That's not going to be enough, but that is one less sword we can find here in GTA.
There was number 12. And Andy's gonna go for Thieves Town.
Yeah, Andy knows at this point if it's in left side spawn, the race is over. So you might as well do these low percentage checks.
That's 13.
Yep. For 14 through 17 coming up here. Bob's chests are, Bob's chests will be 18, and then 19 through 21 behind Armos if we get that far.
There it is, number 14.
Number 14, lucky number 14.
And he finds our last sword as well.
Tosh gets to tell his friends and family, or their friends and family, that they won the big key guessing game today in chat. Congratulations to all the wagerers. And here we go. A little bit of a climb. Master Sword. Oh, we did get a Tempered Sword out of there. So that's going to make things even easier for Obscure. Obscure making the climb up. We can, barring a massive disaster, and start taking a look at Game 3 tomorrow. We're not going to see Key Sanity, that's for sure. Inverted Keys will have a small chance. Our biggest chance is going to be just a open hard mode.
Yep. Game 3 is scheduled already. Tomorrow's exact same time. I don't think we've had a channel assigned yet. No channel assigned for it yet. Yeah, barring a big... something really bad happening, yeah. We will be headed to Game 3 tomorrow.
Just to get a little bit more magic. Doesn't necessarily need it. But nice to have. We'll get a full refill here at the end of this floor.
I mean, this has been a pretty interesting race, so overall, like, Obscure kind of took an advantage going into Dark World, but at the same time, Andy was continuously finding things that were like, okay, that's interesting. And
yeah,
you know,
I think the big turning point here is that none of the things that were in the overworld really kind of pushed a massive advantage one way or the other. So Andy finding that Turok big key under the bridge did hurt because Obscure eventually had a reason to do those checks out of logic, and Andy finding Fire Rod didn't really pay off anything. It kind of just filtered both runners into going into Turok, and Obscure was there earlier.
so where is that other bow? At this point, I gotta think it's in Eastern. Well, I guess it could also be in GT.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of GT we haven't looked at. Could be in Eastern Palace. I think those are the only two places of note. We are not leaving a lot of DLC on the table here today.
Let's go ahead and do one more prediction. Where does Ganon say those silvers are? Either in GT or somewhere else. I believe there were well, let me think. 3 in Armos basement, 1 in Bob's chest, big chest, and tower room. So there's 6 options in GT, and there's some other options outside of it. I think there's more than 6 outside GT, just to make it interesting.
Yeah, there's 2 in Eastern, there's 2 in the Pyramid. Yeah, into Ganon. Obscure with a shield bigger than his sprite. Imagine how bad Ganon has to feel getting beat up by a fish.
And nice 1-1, and we're about to find out after a few stomps.
Yeah, Ganon not sitting still for us very well.
Alright, these silvers are in Light Worlds, not in GT.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Has to be a fetch quest, yeah. It has to be either mushroom turn in or shovel or powder. Congratulations to all of you points earners. You're getting a lot of triples in. This is a really clean fight. You can tell Obscure has a lot of NMG practice. Andy does as well. We won't get to see that today, though. But that was incredibly fast for Phase 4. And ObscureLifeForm getting ready to cross this bridge. Get those GGs ready in chat. As we got ourselves a Game 3.
Yep. Official time 1:48:56, and Andy forfeit almost immediately after.
Yeah, hard to blame Andy at this point. Definitely a race where Andy played the percentages and just didn't pay it out today. And there is a Game 3 tomorrow. Joining us in the room right now are our competitors, ObscureLifeForm and Andy. GG's to both of you. Congratulations to Obscure. And yeah, that was a giant mess of the seed.
GG's, Andy. Good race. Oh, GG. Yeah, we were talking about it in the race room at the end. Like, it was just such a bad seed. Like, it just didn't really give any directions. Items were everywhere. It was so difficult to know where to go. And then the hard required 4 total rock keys as well. Actually, I had them when going in there, but it was just rough.
Yeah, we were talking as things were wrapping up that your routes were very, very divergent in the early game. And Andy picked up a couple interesting and required things, like the turtle wrap big key under the bridge. There was a couple other early dives as well, where Andy was collecting items and getting dungeons done. But that early hammer for you, Obscure, leading into early play into passage runs to get the cane swing and the flute, kind of where things turned a bit in the mid game.
Yeah, I think, like, after the Moon Pearl, like, I knew the Moon Pearl was pretty trash, being on Sit Kid, so I felt like at that point, like, there's a good chance, like, Andy would probably go to Eastern and last location this, so I was feeling okay with that. And then I saw the hammer, I was like, oh no. Then the cape was right there, so I was like, okay, at least we've got, like, everything. I mean, even if I didn't have the hammer, I still probably would have gone to pod. There really wasn't much direction or much to do at that point. But it felt good to find that hammer quite quickly. So yeah, going to pod and then rushing to Misery Mine and finding that mirror. Like, all of that kind of chain felt good, and then after that, the seed just felt bad again. Like, finding the Maya Big and Ice Palace, and I was like, oh no. Then it was like a 1 in 4 chance of finding a pendant when I went back to the Misery Mire, and of course the pendant dropped, and I was like, oh, I feel really bad now. So I was kind of like thinking, like, okay, chances are Andy's probably not gonna. He's either gonna go to Ice Palace, which I mean, I don't know how he routed, but he's probably gonna go to Ice Palace, pick up the Maya Big, and probably clear this out anyway. So maybe might not be too much of a time loss. It was just hard to know, really. But yeah, that was kind of like my only part that I kind of felt good about this seed. Like, and then after that, it just kind of was just rough again. Just kind of wanted to know where to go.
Yeah, Andy was in Ice Palace not too later after you were there. Yeah, it was. I think the one interesting thing about Ice Palace is it told you a lot of places the flippers weren't at, with flippers so late in the chain. But yeah, this was a seed that did not give a lot of positive directions, just a lot of negative ones.
One thing I did want to ask about your route, Obscure, was holding on Death Mount or Dark Death Mountain as long as you did. Was that intentional? What was your thinking on that?
It was just kind of just wanted as much as I could for Dark Death Mountain, and I had things to do at the time. Like with the pod, like I knew I wanted to go to pod. Like, there was no questions. I wanted to go to pod, and then finding the flute, and it kind of opened up Ice Palace, it opened up Maya, then finding the mirror opened up Desert, and I think Thieves Town Big Key was in Ice Palace, so Thieves Town. So there was things to do before climbing up, so I could just collect as much as I could before going up the mountain. And then I made a huge mistake, which almost cost me the race, to be honest, because I accidentally didn't track my swamp small key. So when I finished Turtle Rock, I was kind of like, okay, what? I've only got a few checks really left to do. Like, what do I want to do? So I was thinking of doing Thieves Town into Skull Woods, and then like I went into Thieves Town. I was like, oh wait, I actually do have my swamp small keys. So I ran back out and was just like, do Skull Woods and Swamp. Like, I don't want to do Thieves Town anymore.
We were wondering about that when we saw you heading towards Thieves Town. It felt like a really odd play.
Yeah, it was basically because I didn't have too much to do. Like, like I was saying to Andy, I completely forgot I hadn't done Eastern. Like, that was just out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, I was kind of thinking, okay, I can route Skull Woods, I could check Paired, go over to Catfish, Zora. I could do Front of Swamp as well, but then like I was like, wait, let me just double check, make sure I definitely don't have this small key, and there it was in my pocket. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing this now. There's too many other checks to be doing, so I went over to Skull Woods instead.
So signing things back through the seat, Andy. It looks like early you were being very thorough with your checks. Was that your plan with being up 1-0, or is that just generally how you feel comfortable playing?
That's just early key sanity stuff for the most part. We didn't have too many big keys early. So like going into the Dark Worlds, my whole process was like clear out South Dark World and then clear out North Dark World and go to pod after that. And then pulling the Skull Big into the book made me want to do like Smith Chain into Desert instead, for like a low percentage early play, I guess, which led to last locating pod, which like felt kind of bad but not like terrible, I guess. And then at that point, I think all I had left was Mire or Turtle Rock. And then Mirror opened up like 3 things. So at a certain point, I knew Turtle Rock was the answer, and I was just trying to do as much as I could outside of that to try and not double dip Turtle Rock, basically. And then, the left side swamp play at the end, it was just like a 30-70. I figured Obscure was going to skip it because being down 0-1, that's like a long time sink for nothing. But that's how it goes.
Yeah. Interesting you brought up that book. That was one thing at the time we thought was interesting, but it did end up leading to nothing. Yeah. Yeah, like, as we said, like there were a lot of moments in the seed where I thought, okay, that's an interesting find. But I think that's kind of how Key Sanity goes. It's a lot of, you generally don't have that big discovery moment in Key Sanity as much. You generally have a lot of these little, oh, okay, that might be interesting later on. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Good to hear how you routed that and just your thought process. Definitely very informative. So going into game 3 now, you guys are scheduled for tomorrow. Is there any mode you want to get? How are you feeling going into that?
I mean, as long as we don't get any more inverted keys, like I was saying, like there's 2 modes I don't want to play against Andy, is inverted keys and key sanity, because I know given the execution game, Andy's going to win that 100% of the time. So I was like, the shorter the game modes, the better it is for me. So I've had both of those, so any of the other 3 modes now would be appreciated.
I'm probably hoping for Boss Shuffle. That'd be fun. Boss Shuffle's fun.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite modes. I don't think I actually got to play that this year in the tournament, so I was a little disappointed by that. But yeah, you guys will be playing game 3 tomorrow, same time, channel to be determined. And yeah, whoever wins gets to face Schulzer. I think we also have a 3rd place match, right?
Yeah, the third four match we get scheduled once we find that out. GFE sitting on the other side of that one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely always good to come down to. Well, I know you guys probably don't want to go to a game 3, but it's always fun to watch game 3s on our side. So, good luck to you guys tomorrow. We'll see what you get. We'll see how that race goes, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck tomorrow, Andy. GG's for today. And yeah, thanks, guys, for putting on the restream, doing comms and tracking and all that good stuff. And for everyone hanging out. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, GG. See y'all tomorrow.
GG's to the both of you. And as we said, tomorrow afternoon, 12:10 Eastern, 9:10 Pacific, 6:10 in Europe. We will have Game 3 somewhere on the SpeedGaming networks. If you check out speedgaming.org, you'll see it scheduled up later tonight. But yeah, Game 3 will have... It won't be Key Sanity. It will be one of the other 4 modes. We'll find it out as the game starts. Should be a good one.
Yeah. Also want to thank Sorcerer Finch for doing the tracking. Key Sanity is always a busy mode to track, so definitely thanks to him as well. He's also been kind enough to manually post all of the usual stuff because looks like we're having a little bit of a bot issue.
Yeah, maybe Sorcerer Finch is part bot as well. Who knows? But thank you for tracking. Thanks again to Obscure and Andy. Give them a follow. JP, it's been a lot of fun today. Excited for Game 3.
Yep, it's been fun working with you too. And yeah, we will see everyone back here tomorrow for Game 3. And as one of these 2 runners will advance to the finals. So have a good day, everyone.